Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about and looking at my best resources for reviewing, revising and researching certain diseases. So for each resource, I've included timestamps in the description below. And yeah, you can just use these timestamps to skip to whatever part of the video you want, just to save yourself some time. So the first resource on the list is called AMBOSS. So AMBOSS is usually my go-to resource when I'm first looking at a disease, because the information is really well organized and each article has a good level of detail without being overwhelming. So the article covers the background information, the clinical features, the diagnostics and the management of a large range of diseases. And for each article, there's a short explanation on certain bits of information, and it gives you the rationale behind the history, the examination and the investigation findings, and sort of relates things back to the pathophysiology of the disease that you're looking at. Each article also has further information such as the relevant anatomy and physiology of the disease that you're looking at, as well as the pharmacology and how taking those medications can alleviate the symptoms of that disease. Furthermore, you can test yourself later on using the Anki add-on, which is conveniently available when you sign up for this website. So one disadvantage of AMBOSS is that although you can get a free 5-day trial, after that you do have to pay $8 a month, or is it actually no, $15 a month. And if you don't do that, you're limited to 3 articles a month, and once you exceed that limit, you kind of get locked out. However, there's a little trick that you can use to bypass this payment system. So all you need to do is go on incognito mode on Google, and then go to AMBOSS. And yeah, so research your disease on AMBOSS, and you can use your 3 articles. And once you reach the limit, all you have to do is get rid of the incognito tab, and then come back in with a new incognito tab, and it resets the number of articles that you have. So you can just do this over and over again and not pay for the subscription. So the second resource that I use all the time is called Toronto Notes, and it's a textbook which I've got online as a PDF version. So Toronto Notes has an extensive range of diseases that it talks about, and each chapter is split into the different specialties such as cardiology, gastroenterology, respiratory physician, etc. So all the information for the diseases is really well summarized, and well, basically each disease is condensed down into 1 to 3 pages, and that includes the basics such as the clinical features, how it's diagnosed, as well as the treatment and management for that certain condition. Also, each article or each part of the chapter for that disease can have like some memorization tools such as mnemonics, which is really useful for when you're revising the material for later on. Yeah, in addition to the mnemonics, it also has some background information on anatomy, physiology and pharmacology. So you can, I guess, have a better understanding of why that disease causes all the signs and symptoms. So one disadvantage of Toronto Notes is the fact that some diseases are only really briefly mentioned, and you'll probably have to go use some other resources in order to get the right level of detail for what you're looking for. So like I said before, you can find Toronto Notes for free online as a PDF. You just have to do a little bit of digging, potentially on some dodgy websites, but you can find it and it is pretty useful. So my third resource is called Medscape. And what's good about Medscape is that, unlike the previous 2 resources, it is completely free to sign up for. And it's my go-to for reading up on a disease when I first had to do it for a case. And it gives you the history of the disease, like the actual historical, like when it was discovered and all that. It also includes the clinical features, the complications and the prognosis, as well as the treatment. And these are all covered in detail and refer to up-to-date research. And one thing I really like about Medscape for each of the articles is that for a certain disease, for example, acute coronary syndrome, it gives you a big range of differentials for that particular disease. One disadvantage, well, I'm not too sure if it's a disadvantage, but it has more detail than you probably need. But overall, the more detail, the better, I'm guessing. So on a side note, Medscape also has some cool articles and up-to-date medical research that you can read in your spare time just to keep up to date with what's going on throughout the world in medical research. So the final resource in the video is a medical school classic. It's called the Teach Me series. So personally, I use the anatomy, the physiology and the surgery versions of the website the most. So each website is simple, it's easy to use and has easy to read information, and it covers a range of different topics for anatomy, physiology and surgery. On each article, there's practice multiple choice questions to make sure that you understand the concepts on each of the pages. And what I really like about this website is the fact that the diagrams are very nicely color-coded and are visually appealing to look at. So some features such as the larger question banks and the 3D anatomy models are locked behind an $8 per month paywall, but personally I think that you don't really need the paid version. The free version is actually very good. So thanks for watching the video. If you found this video useful, liking and subscribing would be excellent. So I'll see you around for the next one. Thank you.